Here I am in my dev environment. Within my dev workspace, I have set up a dev catalog. And this dev catalog is tied to an external location, which I have also set up, which in turn is tied to an S3 bucket. So within my dev catalog, I have two schemas, the default and information schema. If I navigate over to the details tab, we can take a look at the storage location for this dev catalog. And if you take a look here, the storage catalog location is my S3 bucket, which I have set up already. If I navigate over to the permissions tab, this is where I can delegate permissions at the catalog level. It's important to remember that Unity catalog permissions follow a tree hierarchy. So if you give broad range of permissions at the most top level, which is the catalog, all those permissions will inherit down into the schema and data asset level as well. Now, if I take a look at my workspaces tab over here, you will see that the default all workspaces have access has been turned off. Instead, I have bound this catalog to this dev workspace. So if you take a look here, my dev catalog is only read and write access level to my actual dev workspace. Now we will create a prod catalog. So here I am in my prod workspace. And if I navigate over to the external data tab at the top, we see that I have created an external location, which is referencing my prod S3 bucket. Now, if I go back to the catalog, I will create my production catalog. So first I will click the plus sign, click on create a catalog, and I will give my catalog a name. For type, I will choose standard, and I'll uncheck use default storage. And for external location, I will choose my prod catalog EL. I will click create, I will click on view catalog, and we can see that our prod catalog has been created. If I navigate over to details, we will see that the storage location for this is my S3 bucket, which is tied to my S3 prod catalog bucket. If I go over to permissions, here is where I can delegate permissions to my users and groups. Now we'll see that the default behavior is that all workspaces underneath this Unity catalog metastore will have access. I don't want this behavior, so I will uncheck this and I will specifically grant workspaces access. I will click on assign to workspaces, and these are the two workspaces that I have underneath my UC metastore. I will choose both of them, but I am going to update the permissions for my dev workspace. So now, in order to actually manage the access level for my dev workspace, I'm going to click on the demo environment dev workspace, click on the manage access level, and I'm going to change my access to read only so that this catalog will only be read only in my dev workspace. If I click apply, those permissions will take place. Great. So now if I navigate back over to my dev workspace and I hit refresh, we should see that the prod catalog shows up in my dev workspace, but this will be only read only. So if I go to the workspaces tab, we'll see that this catalog is read only at this workspace level. And if I try to create any tables underneath any of the schemas, it won't let me because this is read only. Awesome. So you can see that the catalog has been designated as read only in this workspace, so I won't be able to actually write anything to this catalog from this workspace. So with that, we have successfully set up our Unity catalogs in both of our dev and our production workspace, and also bound them to the respective workspaces.